My girlfriend broke up with me the other day. I asked her why. She said it was because I was a pedophile. I was actually pretty impressed. It's a big word for a 12-year-old. What's up, weirdos? Thanks again for visiting the channel. As always, I appreciate it. If this is your first time on the channel, thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoy the content. My name is Scott. My pronouns are thee, thy, and thou. I identify as a flamingo and a haggis. Please don't detonate me. I don't know what that means, but it sounds scary. And today, I just want to let you guys know I'm still doing this knife sale. I'm still trying to get rid of some of these knives. So I figured I'd show these guys off and see if anybody was interested. So I'm just going to go through these real quick. I will show you my Instagram here. This is the only way that I want you to contact me in regards to this sale. So please go contact me on Instagram at lets_do-it-up. LETS_DOITUP on Instagram. If you would like one of these knives and you're happy with the price and looking at it on the screen here, please just send me a message, a direct message on Instagram. I will get back to you. I'll tell you what, I'll give you my PayPal link and you can send me your shipping address and make the payment, and I will send the knife out to you as quickly as I can. So first, I'm just going to go over the budget knives. The first one here is the Cviv Praxis, as you can see in Damasteel. I'm sorry, not in Damasteel, in Damascus. This was a $100 knife when I bought it. I am selling this for $50, just because it's a Damascus knife. G10 scales, which are obviously still in pretty good shape. The pocket clip, yes, is missing. I will not be able to find that or send that to you. I apologize. You've got some very nicely milled internal liners. I don't know if you can see those or not, but they're quite a bit of milling on the inside of those liners to reduce weight on the knife. It's got a G10 backspacer here, stainless steel liners. Obviously, it's just a liner lock, and as you can see, the action is absolutely fantastic on this knife. The flipper tab works great, and you can even reverse flick it or thumb flick it with your thumb if you want to. The blade is very easy to do that with, even though there's no fuller or anything like that. It's just a wide enough blade to be able to use those things to be able to deploy the blade. So again, this one is $50 if you're interested. This one is $40, pretty much exactly the same knife, only I bought it off the secondary market, so I got a little bit of a discount on it. This is the Civ Insight. It's going to be a little bit, just like a hair longer than the Praxis, but as you can see, the Damascus here is in very good shape. The handle scales are in very good shape. This is I want to say the Gold Flake shredded carbon fiber just mixed in with epoxy resin. So it's kind of like a carbon fiber epoxy knife, but just not as much carbon fiber as you would normally have. Again, stainless steel liners milled out very, very well. Good luck up on this guy. The action is fantastic. It just falls right back down to the handle. You can still open this the same way as the Praxis, and the flipper works fantastic. There's no blade play left, right, up, or down on either one of these knives. They lock up very solid. Looks like this is locking up at about 30%, which is pretty good. And no lock stick on this or anything like that. Let me just show you on the screen here with the Praxis as well. No blade play up, right, left, or down. It's locking up at about 30%, pretty standard for Civ. And again, the action is fantastic. These are both on bearings. This one's 40, this one's 50. Next up is going to be the CVV Backlash, another great knife. This is a really good EDC knife. It's a compact size, good action, just a simple knife design. You can see the finish is still very, very good on this guy. I've never really used this or anything like that for any serious kind of cutting. G10 scales, metallic blue liners, which are also milled out quite a bit. No pocket clip for this one either. And there's a G10 backspacer here. No blade play up, down, left, or right. And the action on this is a little bit more, it's a little bit stiffer than on the Praxis, but it's got a much lighter blade on it. So no, this isn't drop shut, but it's not bad at all. I don't know if I show you to the back of the knife or not, but I'll get you a close-up view of the back of the knife and those liners, and give a nice little pop to this knife. This is also locking up at about 30%, and we are perfectly centered. So that looks fantastic. This one is, I believe, 20 bucks. Let me double check. The Backlash, yes, Backlash is 20 bucks. I believe they spent 40 on it, so I'm only selling this one for 20 bucks. This one, the CVV Ortis, also a nice little compact everyday carry knife with a Damascus blade, black hand rub Damascus, actual carbon fiber on the scales here. Very, very attractive knife. Very easy to use. It's just got a flipper tab with an opening hole, which I can't use the opening hole, but that's just because I have big fat fingers. Stainless steel liners with quite a bit of milling on the inside, G10 scale, or sorry, G10 backspacer, and no pocket clip for this guy. But as you can see, the action is pretty good. Again, a much lighter knife. Yeah, the reverse flick for this is really difficult for me, just trying to get my finger into that blade. But otherwise, it works pretty well. I think anybody with a normal size hand would have no problem at all operating this knife. No blade play upright, left or down. Up, down, left, or right. I don't know why I always do that. Looks like we're locking it up at about 30%, and centering on this guy is tits. So this one looks fantastic. Well, how much am I selling this one for? The Ortis is 50 bucks. I believe this was 100 bucks when I bought it. Next up is going to be the two Benchmades. I've got the Benchmade Super Freak, which is a little bit smaller than the Adamas, but a very, very good knife. This is one of the more classic knives in the everyday carry community, or EDC community, whatever you want to call it. It is one of the few Benchmade knives that I am willing to buy. I feel like all of their knives are overpriced, and the quality is not good enough for me for those prices. But the Super Freak is a fantastic knife. You've got some two-tone G10 with a little bit of milling on it on both sides, and they're both contoured, so they're very nice in the hand. Not a lot of peaks and valleys and all that stuff to lock your hand into any certain position, but this isn't a huge knife, so you don't really need to move around on a whole bunch anyway. No blade play up, down, left, or right. Thumb studs work very well on this guy. You can reverse flick this or use the thumb flick to open it. It works great. The axis lock on this guy works fantastic as well. You can see here that there are cartridge liners. I don't know if you can see that actually or not, but if you can't see, there are cartridge liners in here that come all the way down to right about here, which is where the screws are. That's what locks in the cartridge liners. It's got Omega springs here on the lock, but again, I don't use this knife a lot, so there hasn't been a lot of use on these Omega springs. This guy just kind of has been sitting in my case and not really seeing much action, so I kind of want to pass it off to somebody else. The coating, as you can see here, is still in very good shape. The scales are still in very good shape. There's a little bit of the coating nicked off here on the pivot, and obviously on the pivot screw. But otherwise, there isn't really a whole lot wrong with this knife. I will say that the screws from Benchmade aren't very good quality screws, and they usually use T6s, so these may be stripped a little bit, but the knife is perfect just the way it is. It doesn't need to be lubed or anything like that, so you may have to take it apart someday, but I don't really think so. This guy is, I believe, running on phosphor bronze washers, so that should keep everything pretty well out of the pivot, but the action, despite that fact, is still very, very good. This guy is going to be $200. I believe I spent $270 or $280 on this, so this is going to cost $200 if you want this one. I don't have the pocket clip for this one either. The Benchmade Adamus, another really classic knife in the knife community. G10 scales with some speed holes here. Never been a huge fan of holes in the handles of knives, but it is what it is. A little bit of jimping up here, a little bit of jimping down here, a little bit of jimping down here, and a little bit of jimping down here. You just got this little peak here, and then it comes back down into another valley. So nice neutral hand shape that you can get in and just lock into really, really well. You've got this dip back here to lock in with your pinky, and you've got this dip right here to protect your finger. Nice little thumb ramp. Thumb studs work fantastic, and the axis lock obviously works really, really well on this knife. This is perfectly centered. I didn't show you the... This one's off to the show side just a little bit, but I should be able to fix that just by tightening it up a little. I don't think that should be an issue. And this one has kind of like a grayish coating on it. As you can see, the blade is still in really good shape. This hasn't seen much use at all. but I've obviously had it for a number of years. The G10's all kind of faded, and the pocket clip also is missing. There is a lanyard hole here. There's a little bit of jimping back here on the thumb, on the pommel of the blade as well, just in case you want to do any downward piercing action or anything like that. Really cool knife. I'm selling this one for $175. I believe I paid $250 for it, or $260, something like that. So I'm selling this one for $175. It's a really good price to get this into your hand if you're interested in this knife. And last but not least, this Signature Series Combat TROODON. G10 jade scale on the show side. Glass breaker here. There's a little bit of paint missing, or yeah, a little bit of paint missing on the glass breaker, and there's a little bit of the coating missing on the pocket clip and the button here. But otherwise, this is in really good shape. As you can see, it goes in and out, no problem whatsoever. I can do this all day long. There's no issues with this knife with failing or getting stuck or anything like that. I try to show people on video this guy going in and out over and over and over and over and over again, so that you can see that there's no issues with it failing or anything like that. So you can see here you've got a dual ground coated blade in M390, not M390. Obviously, this was a made in America Combat TROODON DE, which stands for double edge, I believe. Beautiful knife, never really seen any use. Obviously, I play with it quite a bit, but it's a fantastic knife. I'm going to be selling this for $400. I spent $700 on this because the Signature Series are super expensive, and obviously this one was just because it had a JG10 scale on it, which I know I was stupid for buying this one, but it is what it is. But I'm selling it for a relatively reasonable price. You can get just a standard aluminum Combat TROODON, I think, for like $500. So that's not bad for a Signature Series, in my opinion. But yeah, that's the wholesale, guys. Well, that's the wholesale for today. If anybody's interested in anything else, I've got quite a few extra knives that I'm still selling. I've got some CJRBs. I've got some EMP EDC knives. I've got a Demco 8020S. A couple of Microtechs. I've got some Viros that I'm selling. Kubis. Cviv still, I have a few of those. Some Kaisers to sell. I've got a Wee knife, the Wee Big Banter, that I'm going to be selling. A Varga VBR, Cold Steels, a couple of TRMs, and a few other knives. If anybody's interested in any of those, just let me know. I'll give you the Instagram again in case you missed it at the beginning of the video. My Instagram account is lets_do-it-up, LETS_DOITUP. If you're interested in a knife here or in a knife that I mentioned, just give me a holler and I'll let you know how much it costs, and I'll send you my shipping address, and I'll send you my PayPal link, and you can send me your shipping address after you pay for it or before you pay for it, and I'll send you the knife. So I hope you guys enjoyed the video. If you did, please like and subscribe. I'd really appreciate that. Stay up, weirdos. Take it easy.